Women don't care what you do for them. They're loyal to one thing only: psychology tricks. Most men aren't ready for this, but you need to hear it clean. A woman does not bond to your exhaustion. She does not owe you loyalty because you overgave, overserved, or overproved yourself. Sacrifice is not a relationship strategy. Kindness is not a contract. And being a good man is not a magic spell that forces someone to stay. In fact, when a man tries to purchase loyalty with effort, he quietly teaches her one message: I don't believe I'm enough unless I'm constantly earning you. And that's the beginning of the end, because loyalty isn't built on what you do for her, it's built on what she feels around you. As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That's the psychology most men miss. Women don't cling to a man because he did everything. They stay when they feel emotionally safe, respected, steady, and proud to stand beside him, when his presence has spine, when his life has direction, when his love has standards, when he can give without begging and lead without controlling. So if relationships have felt confusing, stop counting your sacrifices like receipts. Start building the one thing that actually creates loyalty: a grounded masculine frame, calm, clear, consistent, and self-respecting. And before we go deeper, a quick message. If my videos have been helping you and you want to support this work, you can subscribe on Facebook through a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. That support helps me keep making strong, useful content, and I truly appreciate you. Now, let's continue. 1. The lie most men are taught. The lie most men are taught is dangerously simple. Be nice. Be supportive. Do more. Give more. And she will stay. That is the script handed to boys who grow into men believing effort alone guarantees loyalty. So you invest time, energy, attention, money, emotional labor. You answer every call. You fix every problem. You show up early and leave late. And for a while, it seems to work. She appreciates it. She enjoys it. She benefits from it. But appreciation is not loyalty, and comfort is not desire. Don't confuse being useful with being unforgettable. Don't confuse kindness with emotional impact. Women are not loyal to tasks you complete. They're loyal to how they feel when they are with you. That is female psychology. That is the part most men ignore. You can do everything right on paper and still lose her because attraction does not grow from obligation. It grows from emotional experience. A woman doesn't fall in love because you solved her problems. She falls in love because you made her feel something powerful, steady, and rare. This is where psychology tricks come in, not manipulation, not games, but understanding emotional dynamics. When you understand psychology tricks rooted in human behavior, you realize people bond to emotional states, not transactions. If being around you feels predictable, safe but flat, comfortable but unstimulating, she will appreciate you and slowly detach. But if being around you feels grounded, calm, slightly mysterious, emotionally steady, she associates you with strength. Be centered. Don't overreact. Don't chase reassurance. Don't panic when she pulls back slightly. That is where most men fail. They try to secure love through more giving, more explaining, more convincing. You must understand this. Desire grows in space, not pressure. Loyalty grows from emotional respect, not over-delivery. When you master female psychology, you see that attraction deepens when a man values himself enough to remain composed. That composure is one of the most powerful psychology tricks you will ever learn. It signals abundance. It signals confidence. It signals that you choose her, but you do not need her to survive. And that changes everything. If you want to understand how to fall in love in a way that lasts, stop asking what more you can do for her and start asking how you make her feel about herself when she is with you. Do you create emotional safety without becoming predictable? Do you lead conversations with calm direction? Do you hold your boundaries with quiet certainty? That is how to fall in love as a mature man. Not through endless giving, but through emotional strength. Women are loyal to the experience they have with you. Master that experience. Study female psychology. Apply psychology tricks ethically and wisely. Be steady. Be self controlled. Be the man whose presence feels like clarity in a chaotic world. That is not manipulation. That is emotional intelligence. And that is what makes her stay, not because she has to, but because she wants to. 2. Women attach to emotional experience, not effort. Women attach to emotional experience, not effort. That is the first psychological truth most men learn too late. Women do not attach to effort. They attach to emotional experience. Read that again. Let it sink in. How she feels around you matters far more than anything you do for her. You can plan the trips, pay the bills, solve the problems, send the long messages, and still watch her slowly drift if the emotional current between you goes flat. Effort is visible. Experience is felt. And feelings are what bond people. If the emotional experience fades, her attachment fades with it. Don't take that personally. Understand it. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. Have you noticed that some men do very little, yet women remain fascinated by them, while other men do everything right and still get replaced? That is not luck. That is psychology. The man who seems effortless often understands something deeper. He understands tension. He understands mystery. He understands emotional pacing. He may not be trying harder, but he is making her feel more. That is the difference. A high-value man does not compete in generosity. He competes in presence. He knows that to attract women, he must master emotional impact, not overextend effort. Don't misunderstand this. Kindness matters. Character matters. But without emotional charge, they become background noise. Masculine energy is not loud. It is steady. It is grounded. It creates an atmosphere. When she feels calm yet stimulated around you, safe yet intrigued, that is when attachment forms. You must focus on the experience of being with you. Do conversations feel alive? Do you hold eye contact without rushing? Do you respond instead of react? That is masculine energy in motion. Many men think being a high-value man means doing more. No, it means being more. Being centered. Being decisive. Being emotionally self-contained. When you are overly eager, overly available, overly accommodating, the emotional experience becomes predictable. Predictability lowers tension. Lower tension lowers attraction. If you want to attract women consistently, create emotional contrast. Be warm, but not chasing. Be interested, but not anxious. Be expressive, but not overflowing. That balance is what makes her lean in. That balance signals a high-value man. Women remember how they felt when they left you. Were they energized? Curious? Slightly challenged in a good way? Or simply comfortable and bored? Don't try to win her through constant giving. Win her through emotional leadership. Masculine energy leads the emotional tone of the interaction. If you are steady, she relaxes. If you are playful, she opens. If you are composed under pressure, she trusts. That is psychology at work. Effort can be replaced. Emotional imprint is harder to erase. So stop measuring your value by what you provide. Measure it by the emotional atmosphere you create. Be intentional. Be grounded. Be the high-value man whose presence alone shifts the room. That is how you attract women without chasing. That is how attachment grows. Not from effort alone, but from experience that feels alive. 3. The core truth about female loyalty. Here is the core truth you must understand if you want to master relationships at this stage of your life. Women are not loyal to what you do for them. They are loyal to how they feel about themselves when they are with you. Read that again. Not your effort. Not your sacrifices. Not even your consistency. Their loyalty is emotional, not logical. Most men over 35 make the same mistake. They believe loyalty is earned through proving value, through doing more, giving more, fixing more. But female psychology does not operate like a scoreboard. It operates like an emotional mirror. As Maya Angelou said, people will never forget how you made them feel. That is the law. If she feels admired, desired, safe, inspired, elevated in your presence, she stays. If she feels anxious, unsure, unseen, or emotionally heavy around you, she drifts. This is not about manipulation. This is about understanding human nature. And if you ignore it, you lose leverage. Marcus Aurelius taught in Old Stoic wisdom, you have power over your mind, not outside events. That is your foundation. An iron mind creates emotional stability. Emotional stability creates attraction. Attraction creates voluntary loyalty. When you react, chase, over-explain, and seek reassurance, you shift the emotional atmosphere downward. When you remain grounded, decisive, calm, and self-contained, you elevate the emotional experience. That is where Stoicism win becomes real in modern life. In today's world of social media, endless options, and constant validation, a man who controls himself stands out more than a man who performs. Do not try to impress her. Impress yourself. Do not try to secure her loyalty. Secure your emotional discipline. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom from neediness. Freedom from overthinking. Freedom from emotional leakage. Women feel that freedom. They respond to it. They attach to it. Because when you have an iron mind, you do not beg for affection. You create an environment where affection grows naturally. This is the psychology most men never learn. Loyalty is not negotiated. It is inspired. It is triggered by emotional experience. So build the experience. Lead conversations with certainty. Maintain boundaries without apology. Withdraw attention when respect drops. Reward warmth with warmth. Stay centered. Stay steady. Stay unpredictable in growth, but predictable in character. That is Old Stoic wisdom applied to modern relationships. That is Stoicism win in action. Repeat it until it becomes instinct. She is loyal to how she feels about herself with you. Shape that feeling through strength, calm, and self-respect. Develop the iron mind. Master your reactions. Control the emotional temperature. Do this, and you do not chase loyalty, you attract it. 4. Overgiving signals fear of loss. Overgiving signals fear of loss, and the moment a man starts overgiving to secure loyalty, he quietly reveals what he is trying so hard to hide. He is afraid. Afraid she might leave. Afraid he is not enough. Afraid that if he stops performing, the attention disappears. And understand this clearly, fear quietly erodes attraction. Not because women are cruel, not because they don't appreciate effort, but because female psychology is wired to respond to emotional stability, not emotional chasing. Think about the message overgiving sends. When you constantly try to prove your worth through favors, gifts, endless availability, and nonstop reassurance, you're communicating that you don't believe you are already worthy. You're saying, "I must compensate." You're saying, "I need to secure this." And the energy behind that effort matters more than the effort itself. Women don't consciously analyze it, but they feel it. Female psychology is highly attuned to emotional shifts. They sense when a man gives from abundance and when he gives from anxiety. Those are two completely different energies. Don't confuse generosity with overcompensation. Be generous because you choose to. Don't give because you're negotiating for loyalty. That is where many men misunderstand psychology tricks. They think the trick is to give more, do more, impress more. No. The real psychology tricks that create attraction are rooted in emotional gravity, calm, centered presence that does not chase validation. That is what makes someone lean in. That is what creates curiosity. That is what shapes how to fall in love in a mature, grounded way. Attraction grows in emotional safety, not emotional pressure. If you are always overextending yourself, always proving, always available, you remove the space that allows her to invest. You must allow space. You must allow mystery. You must allow her to move toward you. That is not manipulation. That is understanding female psychology at a deeper level. A woman is loyal to how she feels around you. If she feels steady, grounded, and secure in your presence, loyalty grows naturally. If she feels your fear of losing her, she begins to question your stability. Emotional gravity means you are centered in yourself. You don't panic when she pulls back. You don't overreact to silence. You don't double your effort when she takes space. Be calm. Be steady. That is strength. Psychology tricks are not about control. They're about self-mastery. And self-mastery is attractive. When a woman senses that you are fulfilled with or without her, that you give because you want to, not because you need to, that is when respect forms. That is how to fall in love in a healthy way, not through overgiving, not through fear, but through grounded confidence that says, without words, I am enough. If this message hit close to home, don't just scroll past it. Pause. Let it land. Because most men never stop to examine this pattern, and that's why they keep repeating it. Like this video, share it with a man who's still trying to earn loyalty through effort, and subscribe if you're ready for calm, grounded wisdom instead of dating noise. And to lock this lesson into your mind, drop this in the comments right now. I don't overgive. I lead with emotional stability. 5. When women actually leave. When do women actually leave? Here is what most people never say out loud. Women do not leave because a man is imperfect. They do not leave because he made a mistake. They leave when the emotional experience shifts. They leave when the man who once stood grounded begins to unravel from the inside. Not dramatic, not loud, subtle, slow, almost invisible. A man who once carried masculine energy with calm certainty starts reacting instead of leading. He argues to win instead of speaking to resolve. He seeks validation instead of setting boundaries. He over-explains instead of standing firm. That is when loyalty begins to leak. Not overnight, not with a fight, but with a feeling. And feelings are everything. I have seen it countless times. A high-value man does not lose a woman because he failed to impress her. He loses her when he stops trusting himself. He starts asking, "Are we okay?" after every small shift in tone. He needs reassurance after minor disagreements. He apologizes for things that require no apology. Don't misunderstand. Accountability is strength, but chronic self-doubt is not leadership. Be clear about the difference. When a man constantly seeks comfort from the very person he is meant to emotionally anchor, the polarity changes. The dynamic shifts. The masculine energy that once felt steady now feels uncertain. And when the emotional gravity changes, attraction changes with it. Not because she is heartless, not because she is ungrateful, but because the experience of being with him no longer feels grounded. Women don't consciously calculate this. They feel it. They respond to emotional direction. A high-value man understands this. He does not panic when tension appears. He does not chase reassurance. He does not collapse under temporary distance. He stays centered. That is leadership. That is stability. That is what helps attract women long-term. Don't react to every mood swing. Don't explain your worth. Don't beg for emotional security. Be the emotional constant. Be the calm in the disagreement. Be the man who listens without shrinking and speaks without trembling. That is masculine energy in action. And masculine energy is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is composed. It is self-trusting. When that energy fades, she begins to disconnect, not from the man, but from the feeling she once had around him. You must protect that feeling. You must protect your center. If you want to attract women and keep their loyalty, don't focus on doing more. Focus on being steady. A high-value man is not perfect. He is anchored. He does not chase validation. He creates clarity. He does not over-explain. He stands firm. That is the difference. And that difference changes everything. 6. The power of identity. Now here is the part that surprises most men, especially those who have spent decades believing that effort equals devotion. The real power in attraction is identity. Women are loyal to identity, not personality, not endless kindness, not how much you sacrifice. Identity. Fewer when no one is clapping. Fewer when she pulls back. Fewer when tension enters the room. That is what female psychology locks onto. If your identity is grounded, your actions carry weight. If your identity is unstable, no amount of gifts, favors, or grand gestures will hold things together for long. Don't confuse activity with authority. Don't assume that doing more makes you more valuable. Be the man whose sense of self does not fluctuate based on her mood. That is power. That is stability. That is what many call psychology tricks, but in truth, it is simply understanding female psychology at a deeper level. When a woman senses that a man knows who he is, that he has standards, that he will walk away from disrespect without drama, something shifts. She may not say it out loud. She may not even consciously analyze it, but she feels it. And feelings drive loyalty far more than logic ever will. Men who beg for clarity, who overinvest to prove worth, who emotionally collapse when faced with distance, unknowingly lower their perceived value. Not because they are bad men, not because they lack intelligence, but because their identity becomes negotiable. And once identity becomes negotiable, attraction begins to wobble. You must understand this clearly. Loyalty flows toward perceived strength of character. It does not flow toward neediness. It does not flow toward overexplanation. It flows upward toward certainty. That is why women often remain deeply attached to men who are willing to walk away calmly rather than tolerate ongoing disrespect. Don't argue your value. Embody it. Don't chase validation. Generate it internally. Be the man who can say, without anger and without apology, "This does not work for me," and mean it. That signals high internal value more than any expensive dinner ever could. In modern life, where relationships are filtered through social media, comparison, and constant options, identity matters even more. A man without a solid sense of self gets pulled in every direction. He adjusts his opinions to avoid conflict. He softens his boundaries to avoid loss. He overextends to secure affection. But female psychology responds to consistency. It responds to emotional steadiness. It responds to a man who knows his path and stays on it. That is not coldness. That is clarity. And clarity is magnetic. Many men ask how to fall in love in a way that lasts, how to create connection that does not fade. The answer is not performance. It is presence. It is identity. When your identity is strong, your actions are bonuses, not bargaining chips. When your identity is strong, you give because you choose to, not because you fear losing her. That subtle difference changes everything. Psychology tricks, when misunderstood, sound manipulative. But at a deeper level, they are simply principles of human behavior. People attach to those who appear self-assured. People invest in what feels stable. Women are no different. Female psychology is wired to seek emotional security, and emotional security begins with a man who does not crumble under pressure. If your identity is solid, you do not panic during disagreements. If your identity is solid, you do not flood her with messages when she takes space. If your identity is solid, you do not overcorrect every minor shift in tone. You stay centered. You stay composed. You stay grounded. That is attractive. That is persuasive without words. That is influence without force. And here is the uncomfortable truth. If your identity is fragile, she will feel responsible for stabilizing you. Attraction rarely thrives in that dynamic. Don't make her your emotional anchor. Be your own. Be the man whose standards are clear. Be the man who invests wisely, not recklessly. Be the man who values connection, but does not depend on it for self-worth. That is how to fall in love without losing yourself. That is how to build loyalty that feels voluntary, not pressured. When a woman chooses to stay with a man who has options, who has boundaries, who has emotional control, her loyalty feels earned, not obligated. And loyalty that feels earned is powerful. Loyalty that feels upward-facing is resilient. Remember this: identity first, actions second. Core first, performance second. Substance first, gestures second. If you reverse that order, you will always feel like you are trying to catch up. If you get it right, you will notice something subtle but profound. She begins to lean in. She invests more. She respects more. Not because you tried harder, but because your internal value is clear. Psychology tricks, female psychology, how to fall in love, these phrases all circle around the same center: self-definition. Define yourself before the relationship tries to define you. Hold your frame without hostility. Speak calmly. Act deliberately. Walk away when necessary, not as a threat, but as a reflection of standards. That is identity. That is strength expressed quietly. And when your identity is unshakable, you no longer worry about loyalty flowing downward. Because loyalty, by nature, always flows toward what feels solid, steady, and self-assured. If you understand this, you're no longer chasing approval, you're building identity. Most men try to earn loyalty through effort. You now know loyalty follows strength of character. It follows standards. It follows a man who does not beg, does not overinvest, and does not collapse under pressure. That is a different level of awareness. That is power. If you're ready to stop performing and start embodying, comment this below. I build my identity first and loyalty follows. Type it, own it, and start living it. 7. Obligation versus loyalty. Obligation versus loyalty. This is where most men get confused, and it is a difficult truth to accept. We want to believe that being good is enough, that paying the bills, opening the doors, planning the trips, and saying the right words automatically guarantees devotion. It sounds fair. It sounds logical. But human psychology does not operate on fairness alone. If it did, every generous man would keep the woman he wants. Respect is not created by what you give someone. It is created by how you value yourself. That is the line you must understand. A woman can feel grateful to you, comfortable with you, even indebted to you, and still not feel true loyalty. Gratitude is not loyalty. Comfort is not loyalty. Indebtedness is not loyalty. Loyalty requires respect. And respect does not come from overgiving. It comes from self-control. It comes from boundaries. It comes from masculine energy that is calm, steady, and centered. Don't confuse generosity with leverage. Don't assume that sacrifice creates attachment. Be the high-value man who gives because he chooses to, not because he fears losing her. That is different. That is powerful. This brings us to the core distinction. Obligation feels like debt. Loyalty feels like devotion. When a woman stays out of obligation, she is keeping score. She remembers the vacation you paid for. She remembers the favors. She remembers the support. But she also measures her dissatisfaction against that list. She balances guilt against desire. That is a fragile position. A relationship built on obligation feels heavy. It feels transactional. It feels like a contract. But when a woman is truly loyal, there is no scoreboard. She is not calculating. She is not weighing options against what you have done. She stays because something deeper is operating. She stays because of who you are, not what you provide. That is why becoming a high-value man is not about status symbols or loud confidence. It is about identity. It is about masculine energy expressed through emotional discipline. It is about being the same man on Monday morning as you are on Saturday night. Consistent, grounded, certain. You must understand this clearly. You do not attract women long-term through performance. You attract women through presence. Presence cannot be faked. It is felt. When you overextend yourself to secure affection, you create obligation. When you maintain your standards while offering kindness, you create respect. Respect is the soil where loyalty grows. Without it, nothing sustainable survives. Many men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond fall into the same trap. They believe experience alone should guarantee admiration. They believe stability alone should guarantee devotion. But stability without self-respect becomes predictability. Predictability without edge becomes comfort. And comfort without respect becomes indifference. Don't panic when you hear that. Learn from it. Adjust. A high-value man understands that masculine energy is not loud or aggressive. It is contained. It is disciplined. It does not beg for reassurance. It does not collapse during conflict. It does not overinvest to prove worth. That self-containment signals internal strength. And internal strength creates respect. When you attract women through obligation, they stay because leaving feels inconvenient. When you attract women through identity and self-control, they stay because leaving feels like a loss. That is a profound difference. One is maintained through effort. The other is maintained through essence. You must decide which dynamic you are building. If you constantly remind her of what you have done, you are negotiating from debt. If you quietly stand firm in who you are leading from value. Obligation pressures. Loyalty chooses. Obligation calculates. Loyalty commits. Obligation feels heavy. Loyalty feels natural. This is not about playing games. It is about understanding psychology at a mature level. Women respond to how a man sees himself. If you treat yourself as optional, she will sense that. If you treat your time, energy, and attention as valuable, she will sense that too. Masculine energy, when balanced, communicates, I care about you, but I also care about myself. That balance is magnetic. That balance attracts women in a way that effort alone never can. Don't overgive to be liked. Be centered to be respected. Don't chase approval. Create alignment. Don't try to buy loyalty with sacrifice. Inspire it with identity. The high-value man knows that his role is not to convince, but to embody. He embodies standards. He embodies calm. He embodies direction. That embodiment creates emotional security, and emotional security deepens attachment. In modern relationships, where options appear endless and attention spans are short, obligation collapses quickly. Loyalty rooted in respect endures. So ask yourself honestly, are you building debt or are you building devotion? Are you performing or are you embodying? The answer determines everything. Because in the end, a woman may appreciate what you do, but she commits to who you are. And when you reflect strength, discipline, and steady masculine energy, loyalty does not feel forced. It feels chosen. 8. The momentum principle. The next truth you must understand is this: the momentum principle. Women are not loyal to your past achievements, your promises, or even your sacrifices. They are loyal to momentum. They are loyal to movement. They are loyal to the direction your life is heading right now. When a man is advancing, mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, she feels it. She feels pulled into his frame. She feels secure standing the side motion. But when a man slows down, when he becomes comfortable, when he starts coasting on yesterday's victories, something shifts. Attraction is present-focused. Who you are today outweighs who you were 5 years ago. This is not cruelty. This is psychology. As Heraclitus said, no man ever steps in the same river twice. Life is movement. Energy is movement. Attraction is movement. Stagnation quietly erodes desire more than arguments ever could. Not conflict, not distance. Stagnation. When a man loses direction, she loses emotional alignment. And loyalty does not explode, it fades. Quietly, gradually, almost invisibly. Look at the relationships you've seen collapse. How many ended because the man stopped evolving? He got comfortable. He stopped chasing new goals. He stopped sharpening his edge. He stopped challenging himself. The spark didn't die because he committed some dramatic mistake. It died because he stopped becoming. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Women respond to excellence in motion, not perfection, progress. That is why Old Stoic wisdom teaches discipline over emotion, growth over comfort, purpose over pleasure. This is Stoicism when in real life. You must build an iron mind that refuses stagnation, an iron mind that wakes up hungry, hungry to improve, hungry to learn, hungry to expand. In modern life, it's easy to drift. Streaming, scrolling, comfort, routine. But comfort is seductive and slow. It numbs ambition. And when ambition fades, so does the magnetic pull that once drew her close. Do not misunderstand this. This is not about performing tricks. It is about embodying forward motion. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Be moving. Be progressing. Be expanding." That is the instruction. When you pursue growth relentlessly, you create psychological gravity. She feels it. She respects it. She aligns with it. When you stop, she feels that too. And alignment weakens. This is why Old Stoic wisdom matters now more than ever. It teaches you to anchor identity in purpose, not praise. To root confidence in progress, not approval. To develop an iron mind that does not depend on applause. That is Stoicism win. Understand this clearly. Attraction thrives on forward energy. It feeds on direction. It survives on momentum. So build, train, study, expand your vision, Set goals that scare you. Take action daily. Small steps, consistent steps. That consistency compounds into power. And that power creates presence. Presence creates respect. Respect sustains desire. Repeat that. Progress creates presence. Presence creates respect. Respect sustains desire. This is not theory. This is lived psychology. The man who keeps evolving never has to beg for loyalty. He inspires it. He earns it by becoming more each year, not less. So decide today. Refuse stagnation. Refuse comfort as a lifestyle. Build the iron mind. Live the old Stoic wisdom. Make Stoicism win your standard. And when you keep moving forward with discipline and clarity, you don't chase loyalty. Loyalty chooses you. 9. How a man handles loss. Listen carefully. Women don't measure you by what you do for them. They measure you by who you are when something is taken away. How a man handles loss reveals everything. When conflict rises, when emotions spike, when plans fall apart, do you stay grounded or do you unravel? That moment is the test. Not when things are smooth. Not when she is smiling. When tension hits. When uncertainty creeps in. When you feel you might lose her. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is not poetry. That is instruction. A man who can lose without losing himself becomes unforgettable. He becomes rare. Most men panic at the first sign of distance. They overtext. They overexplain. They attempt to negotiate attraction. They try to control the outcome through pressure. That never works. Pressure kills desire. Desperation erases respect. But calm strength? That imprints. The man who can say, I value you, but I will not beg, communicates power without aggression and care without neediness. That balance is built through Old Stoic wisdom. That balance is forged through Stoicism win. That balance requires an iron mind. In modern life, where attention is cheap and validation is everywhere, emotional stability stands out more than gifts, more than favors, more than grand gestures. Anyone can spend money. Few can master themselves. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most men lose relationships not because of real loss, but because of imagined loss. Fear takes over. Ego takes over. They collapse internally before anything has even happened. Do not be that man. Be steady. Be centered. Be composed. When you feel the urge to chase, pause. When you feel the urge to react, breathe. When you feel uncertainty, stand firm. That is iron mind. That is Old Stoic wisdom in action. That is Stoicism win in real time. Women are loyal to emotional experience. They stay where they feel safe, inspired, and emotionally secure. Security does not come from control. It comes from consistency. It comes from a man who can absorb pressure without leaking insecurity. Repeat this to yourself. Stay calm. Stay grounded. Stay self-respecting. Loss is not the enemy. Losing yourself is. If she walks away and you remain composed, you win. If conflict appears and you remain measured, you win. If emotions rise and you remain clear, you win. That is how you master life. That is how you become irreplaceable. Not by doing more, but by becoming more. Build the iron mind. Practice Old Stoic wisdom daily. Live Stoicism win, not just talk about it. Control your mind. Control your reactions. Control your frame. And watch how the world, and women within it, respond differently to a man who cannot be shaken. 10. Emotional tests and restraint. Here is the truth most men learn too late. Women don't consciously sit down and design elaborate psychology tricks to test you, but female psychology runs on emotional calibration, and that calibration is always active. It's subtle, instinctive, and constant. A woman will not announce, "I am testing you now." She will simply pull back a little. She will reply slower. She will seem slightly colder. She will create a small pocket of distance, not because she plans to leave, but because she needs to feel here when comfort is removed. That is how to fall in love for her. It is not built on what you give. It is built on how you stand. And in that moment, Your response decides everything. If you chase, you communicate fear. Don't chase. If you over-explain, you communicate insecurity. Don't explain. If you panic and try to fix the mood, you communicate dependence. Don't panic. Be centered. Be calm. Be steady. That is strength. That is emotional restraint. Men between 35 and 70 often believe loyalty comes from consistency of effort, calls, gifts, favors, reliability. Effort matters, yes, but effort without emotional control feels heavy. Female psychology is not impressed by overinvestment. It is drawn to stability. When she pulls back and you remain grounded, when her energy shifts and yours stays composed, when uncertainty appears and you do not scramble to remove it, something powerful happens. She relaxes. She feels safe. She feels the presence of a man who is not controlled by outcome. And that is when loyalty begins to grow. Understand this clearly. Women are loyal to emotional experience. They are loyal to how they feel around you. If being with you feels calm, strong, and unshaken, they associate you with security. That is how to fall in love on a deep level. Not through pressure, not through persuasion, through presence. Many men fail these emotional moments because they think love is about doing more. It is not about doing more. It is about reacting less. Psychology tricks only work when they are unconscious and rooted in self-mastery. Forced tactics fail because tension leaks through your behavior. So don't perform. Don't strategize nervously. Be the man whose mood does not rise and fall with her texts. Be the man whose confidence does not depend on reassurance. Be the man who enjoys her presence, but does not need it to feel whole. That is attractive at any age. That is timeless. When you master your reactions, you master the frame. When you master the frame, you shape the emotional experience. And when the emotional experience feels steady, she stays, not because you convinced her, not because you begged, but because female psychology responds naturally to calm strength. Remember this: the less you try to control the outcome, the more powerful your presence becomes. That is not manipulation. That is discipline. And discipline, quietly expressed, is what makes a man unforgettable. 11. What women are not loyal to. Now let's talk about what women are not loyal to, because if you misunderstand this, you will keep giving more and receiving less. Women are not loyal to overavailability. They are not loyal to emotional dependency. They are not loyal to people-pleasing. They are not loyal to self-sacrifice without boundaries. These behaviors look loving on the surface. They feel safe. They feel generous. They feel responsible. But safety without attraction creates indifference, and indifference is the quiet beginning of the end. This is where good men lose good women. Not because they didn't care, not because they didn't try, but because they tried in the wrong direction. They think constant availability proves devotion. Don't make that mistake. They think having no other interests proves commitment. Don't shrink your world. They think constant agreement proves compatibility. Don't erase your opinions. What they believe shows love often reveals something else, a lack of self. And no one can stay loyal to someone who has no solid center. A high-value man understands this. He gives, but he does not overextend. He cares, but he does not cling. He loves, but he does not dissolve into the relationship. That is masculine energy at its most attractive. Calm, grounded, self-contained. When a man abandons his hobbies, his mission, his friendships, and his standards just to keep peace, he thinks he is building security. In reality, he is lowering polarity. He is reducing tension. He is making himself predictable in a way that drains desire. Don't confuse comfort with connection. Comfort alone does not attract women. Depth does. Strength does. Direction does. A high-value man has a life that excites him outside the relationship. He has goals that require discipline. He has standards that shape his choices. That is masculine energy. And masculine energy is not loud or aggressive. It is steady. It is purposeful. It does not beg for approval. When you are always available, always agreeing, always accommodating, you remove mystery. You remove challenge. You remove the sense that being with you is a privilege. Attraction fades not because you are kind, but because you are too easy to access. Be kind, yes, but also be selective. Be generous, but also be structured. You must have boundaries. You must protect your time. You must protect your values. That is how you attract women who respect you. The truth is simple. People are loyal to strength of identity. If you stand for nothing, there is nothing to hold on to. If your schedule revolves entirely around her, there is no space for her to lean toward you. Indifference grows in the absence of polarity. So build yourself. Sharpen your mission. Invest in your body, your mind, your purpose. Become the high-value man who does not need validation to feel complete. That is how you attract women. That is how masculine energy stays alive. And that is how loyalty forms, not from overgiving, but from standing firm in who you are. 12. Love versus loyalty. Here is the biggest mistake men make, especially after 35 when experience should have taught them better. They confuse love with loyalty. Love is emotional. Loyalty is respect-based. Love moves. It rises and falls with mood, stress, attraction, and circumstances. A woman can love a man deeply and still walk away from him when her emotions shift. But she struggles to leave a man she truly respects. Respect is structural, foundational. It is not built on flowers, favors, or constant reassurance. It is built on emotional steadiness, self-control, direction, and standards. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is Old Stoic wisdom. And that is where most men fail. They try to earn loyalty through effort instead of earning respect through character. They overgive. They overexplain. They overreact. They think doing more will secure her. It will not. Loyalty is not purchased through service. It is inspired by strength, not physical strength, psychological strength, an iron mind. When your emotions are stable, when your standards are clear, when your life has purpose beyond her approval, she feels it. And she responds to it. Modern life amplifies this truth. In a world of constant options, social media validation, and endless attention, emotional attraction fluctuates faster than ever. Feelings are temporary. Respect is earned slowly and lost quickly. As Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom from emotional dependency creates attraction. Freedom from the need to be liked creates magnetism. This is what Stoicism when truly represents. It is not about manipulation. It is about mastery. Mastery of reactions. Mastery of impulses. Mastery of insecurity. When a man embodies Old Stoic wisdom, when he carries himself with an iron mind, he becomes difficult to shake, difficult to replace, difficult to forget. A woman may test emotions. She may question feelings. But she rarely abandons a man whose presence feels grounded, steady, and self-assured. Do not chase emotional highs. Build unshakable respect. Do not beg for reassurance. Become the standard. Do not try to be loved more. Become respected more. That is the shift. That is the leverage. That is the win. Stoicism win is about understanding that loyalty follows respect and respect follows self-mastery. Repeat that until it becomes part of you. Loyalty follows respect. Respect follows self-mastery. Develop the iron mind. Live the Old Stoic wisdom. And you will not need to chase loyalty. It will anchor itself to you because you built something stronger than emotion. You built structure. All right, my friend, before we close, let me leave you with something simple and real. Women don't build loyalty around favors. They don't anchor themselves to effort alone. They connect to how they feel in your presence. They stay loyal to emotional strength, to self-respect, to direction, to a man who knows who he is and doesn't bend every time the wind changes. So here's my honest advice to you. Stop trying to win loyalty by doing more. Start earning it by becoming more. Grow. Stay disciplined. Keep your standards. Protect your time. Build your body, your mission, your mindset. When you respect yourself deeply, people feel it without you announcing it. When you have direction, others naturally align. When you control your emotions, your presence becomes calm, grounded, powerful. Don't chase approval. Don't over-explain yourself. Don't overgive hoping it will be returned. Be steady. Be evolving. Be the man who is going somewhere, with or without her. Because loyalty is never forced. It's inspired. If this gave you clarity, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and explore the other content here. We talk about the things most people are too afraid to say, but every man needs to understand. Stay sharp. Stay growing. And I'll see you in the next one.